What's up? This is Necrotechno here. So this is a pretty long video that I am kind of getting drunker and drunker through. Here's the things you're going to need. Some wires, male to female, rainbow. This is a power supply that I'll be using to make this power connection strip out. Wire cutters, but a knife for smaller wires or a better wire cutter. Either one. Solder and soldering iron, of course. I use those. Liquid tape. I use that instead of heat shrink for style points. And Raspberry Pi hat is what this project's really for. So we'll just go from there.
Okay, today we're going to make a power splitter to power low voltage devices. So I'm making this specifically to power a motor hat for my Raspberry Pi. But you can use this in multiple ways. I've already gone through probably a description of the things you need, but what you really want is this guy, which has multiple voltage outputs. The problem I'm running into currently is that it comes with a very interesting little connection piece. I don't know if I can get that in shot. Whatever. It has two little holes in it. Maybe if I do the light. Once again, yeah, so you see that. Right, like one is larger, one is smaller. It's not universal to anything but the plugs. Like these plugs have that kind of setup on them to where there's one larger, one smaller. But I currently don't have a device that has that. I'm using this Motor Pi, which wants just kind of a tied-in wire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this power supply and we're going to split the wire. Allowing us to easily reconnect it in the future to itself so that we can use these barrel cables for projects later, but also the wire itself will be open face so that you can apply it to whatever. Like really you want an open wire. You don't want to deal with any of this nonsense. You just want open wires. So that's what we're going to get into. Preface, this is my first video ever, but I've been doing this for a while, so I think we're gonna have a good time, and here we go. Okay, so for the first step, basically we have this, and we're going to split this in half, and we're going to use male to female connectors, so you can buy these guys. I bought this box, Rex Qualis DuPont wires, and I thought it was just going to be the male to female, but no, it's fucking, oh, I can't curse, I guess. Yikes. It came with female to female, male to male, like huge rainbow strips, and a male to female. We're gonna use male to female because it's a super tight connection. That's what we're gonna go with. So what you would do with these is take the last two wires and rip them off. I've already done that, and I just have to find them. Okay, well, I can't find the one, so I'm just gonna do a demonstration of of male to females. It's fine. So we'll take let's do gray and purple. That's a good color. So literally you just have this thing and you just peel off what you need. So I don't need this anymore. I'll put it away. It'll go in my stacks. And I have this gray and purple wire that fit together like amazingly. Like the connection, you can feel it in the grip. Like you have to push them in and they connect. It's nice. All right. So what I want is for this to be in the middle of this guy's like cable, right? So first things first, I brought this out. You'll see in the description I have this wire cutter. This one does not work well with tiny wires. It's got an 18 gauge on it, whatever, but it's not the greatest. I also showed a knife. Honestly, this is the way to do it. You want to, it's like sharpening a pencil. So I'm going to take this with the wire cutter in the middle, cut them, and then I'm going to split them just a tiny amount. Should probably be doing more in shot. So you'll see it's very small. And then you'll get it, you'll feel when you hit wire, and then you just pull that out, and then usually it'll just pull off and you can take it, and then you have a little bit of wire. Done. There are, and I used to have one, wire cutters for this size of wire, but I lost mine. So, okay, so I cut it a little bit, and I'm not getting there, right? And that'll happen sometimes. So what I'm going to do is move to the harder edge where I've already cut like a piece off of it. And then I imagine I'll hit wire at this. Yeah, I've already feel it. So there you go, exposed wire, and then I have that to work with on this end. So I have the female end wire stripped, and then always clean up your work. Have the cleanest wires ever, so that if someone opens it, see, okay, you'll also notice that one is longer than the other. I'm gonna go ahead and actually come in and make this one as long, because I want that length. It's a good length. This amount on the gray, so there's the gray and a purple. I need a white background. There we go. So there's the gray and the purple, right? The gray, that's a difficult amount of wire to work with. And you'll sometimes just do it anyways, but the most, I mean, you don't need a shit ton, but like the most wire you can have is gonna make your life so much easier. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this back out a little bit. I can feel it already. There it is. And then you literally just pull it out of its like little housing. Clean up your work. And now I have two very easily accessible like wire components from the female head. Female because it goes in. And then I'm gonna do the male head. I'm gonna film it, but I'll probably crop it out of the video because you already see how it works. So you split a little bit of it, come in with a knife, or you can use a wire cutter, but whatever. I actually have a better knife for this. This I cannot promote enough. I'm under no contracts, but the Ulfa, O-L-F-A, the Ulfa with the black blade is like the sharpest thing you'll ever have in your entire life. It's amazing. It might actually be so sharp that it'll cut through the copper wires, but hopefully I can feel it out, straighten it. No, I cut a shit ton. So, okay, even, you'll see, I'll pull the wire, I'll pull all the wire that's like exposed out. I might not have done so bad. That's probably enough. I thought that I may have cut too much. You'll see that, like, it's got a good chunk there. Like, we're not going too high voltage. We don't need a ton of, like, information or data. There is some still. So, this is another thing you'll miss. You do want all the copper wire you have, and I almost, like, missed that there's copper wire still in the cabling. So I'm going to pull that out and grab it. Man, this must be, like, the most boring video. I don't care. If you're still watching, then you're gonna be a better person in the end for it. Like, save as much material as you can. Don't waste anything, because you're gonna make mistakes along the way. And if like voltage is an issue, you're gonna be kicking yourself. So a lot of times what'll happen is you'll not. It's so hard to show this. I'm sorry, but you'll cut a wire and it'll expose. You see how you can't see? Yeah, okay, you can see that. So there's copper wire and then there's like a head of it that's like not cut. That's gonna happen like 80% of the time. All you have to do is just pull it off. Like when it's that small of amount, it'll just come out real quick and then you can have everything and then you peel it back. So I'm just gonna peel the rubber back a little bit, make sure I get all of the copper wiring out of it. It's just copper, or it's just rubber right there, so clean it up. Cleaning it up may seem like nonsense, but later that stuff is going to get in your way when we start actually soldering. So now I have the female and male. I lost the other part, there it is. Female and male, and their exposed wiring. Great, right? Okay, cool. So now we take the power supply, and I'm just going to cut it. I'm going to cut it pretty close to the barrel head, because now this barrel head becomes a dongle, right? Like now this is a hot swappable item, so I don't want to give it a lot of cabling, but I want to give it enough cabling right now that I can make mistakes within the soldering. So probably, I don't know, 6 or 8 inches, whatever. Cut it out, done. And then the same thing, you just, you'll split it, done, strip these, and have exposed copper wiring. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I feel like you've had enough exposure as to what that looks like. I might be able to do it actually with the tool now, because this is a thicker cabling. So I will go to 18. Hell yeah, look at that. Alright. I want more, so they're uneven in their amount. I'm gonna go more. Done. Done, right? Done. Okay. Take this, split it. I might just leave this in the video because it's so short. You look like an apple. Fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. You fucked up. Done. Alright. I'm gonna pause it. Just so I don't look like a crazy person. I am listening to music right now on headphones and will sing sometimes, but I thought that the music would be distracting, so I felt like Bluetoothing it in headphones. Good enough. Recording? Yes, we are. Alright, so now what we want to do is take this, which is running through a power supply, and the barrel end, which takes the barrel adapters, and give them these guys. So you kind of have to do a little bit of thinking here, like, what would you rather have? I'm going to go ahead and recommend that from the power supply, you use the male headers. I say this because I use alligator clips a lot. If you're someone who's not going to use alligator clips and you're going to use rods, then use the female for like your power supply. Like it really depends on your style. But I use alligator clips. It's kind of cheap and easy, and that's how I go. So we're gonna do a male to male. We're gonna use the fucking NASA standard for how to solder wires, which I will put up on the screen. And then maybe I'll do a tighter shot of how that works, but once I put it on the screen, you'll have it, whatever. Okay, here I'm gonna zoom in, I think. About right here by the thing. I'm going to use this as a gauge for where the camera is. So stay in that area. Alright, so basically, I'm going to take this. They're gray and purple, so the color scheming doesn't really matter so much. I'm going to twist all of my wires so that they're as connected as possible. And then we'll do gray and purple. So, NASA standard. I'm going to give myself a little bit more space on the wires. I'm going to put them chained together. On their bases, and then I'm going to wrap them around each other in opposite directions. So the base is getting wrapped clockwise, and the header is getting ripped counterclockwise. So now, once I have them kind of like set up with one another, I'm just going to take in my fingers, twist them, get them like really tight, bonded. The goddamn NASA standard. Look at that. It's so tight. I doubt I even have to solder it, to be honest. It's probably just good. But we're going to solder it anyways, because of course, why wouldn't we? So this one, like I said earlier, if you don't give yourself enough wire space, it's going to be harder for you. I'm going to go ahead and... Nope, I'm going to go through it so that you realize how much of a pain in the ass. Listen to my words. Give yourself enough wiring space. Alright, so I'm going to do one at a time, and then tighten it down. Try and twist it. Not bad. I can solder that. It'll be good. That's the NASA wiring standard. I will also, I mean, you already have the diagram, so just paint attention to the diagram, do that, and then I will get into soldering. My soldering iron has to heat up, and we'll get into that later. Now I have the female end of the barrel head with the female end of the wiring cables wired together. So I will use my helping hands, and I'll grab just one for now. I don't need this anymore. Put it away. Give myself a little bit more room on this end because I'm not liking it. So I'll do that one first. soldering iron of choice, the cheapest one I've ever purchased. This thing costs $7, I think, and it works better than all of my expensive soldering irons. So, whatever. The way you want to do this is heat the bottom, so heat rises. So you want to heat the cables first. What you're doing right now when you're heating them is allowing them to be hot enough to absorb the solder when you, like, put that down on there. So now we'll, like, solder into it. I'm not going to do any lessons on... I'm going to assume that you know how to solder at this point. But essentially, like, whatever. Like, it'll be hotter at some point. So, like, the base of my soldering iron is way hotter. I'm just going to draw it on to this cable right here. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not going to do that. So, I'll heat this cable and then draw on this way. And there, that's a good soldering point. Same to the bottom cable. Just get it covered. Good. For cleaning your soldering iron, you want to use a piece of cardboard. You can have holes in it, just or stab through if you're like really trying to get it. This is a bad piece. In the video that I failed to record, it was much better. So whatever. So now these cables are properly formed together. They're not going to pull, they're soldered, they're NASA tied, like, to the standard. I showed in a video wire flux. It's like a liquid tape. You don't need this. You can use heat shrink wire. I use this for style points because I think that it's really cool. That's really just it. It's like a goopy paint. I found it in a color that it's going to be hard to find things in good colors. So you just brush it on. And it acts as wire. My first brushing was way better. I've been drinking heavily since I last talked to you. A friend of mine came over, and I hung out with him for probably an hour to an hour and a half drinking. And now I'm way drunker than I was when I started this. So we're going to let that dry. You'll see, though, that when I did this an hour and a half ago and failed to record it properly because I suck. Where is it? This. Oh, here it is. This is already dry. So, and these are like gonna female into that, but they'll also act as alligator clip handles for the actual project. Okay, so now that's the completion of the project. At this point, I'll show you how I'm utilizing this as like a thing that I can do, and we'll get into like theory, I guess. I don't know. Just good practice. It's just good practice. Practice good practice. It's gonna make your life so much easier because you're gonna have so many other projects in the future, and you're gonna be like, man, that thing I made for that project would have been great for this fucking project, because it's this, you're currently learning something that you're like has an expansive field, and you're getting into whatever you're getting into that requires you to break open a power source is probably interesting, and whatever it's revolving around is something you're interested in and you're going to be doing. And this is a thing I'm interested in, like printmaking shit. I'm making a printmaking thing. But this YouTube tutorial is a thing I've done multiple times in my life. This is not my first time, not my first rodeo doing this, and I have a handful of other projects that I'm gonna just YouTube because that's just what I do. I just do these weird projects by myself, and it's fine. So hopefully you learn from this, but I do want you to take the skills you're learning and like think about how everything you do, like everything you make for your practice, can be utilized in the future, because you're going to utilize all of it in some master project. God bless. I hope you have a master project. All right. Well, now now we're just going crazy. Now I'm wasted. So, here we go. This is the female barrel. We don't need that. This is a dongle at this point with female exposed parts in there. And what we need is the power line, and we need to supply it with 6 volts. So I'm going to switch it. You might see that, you might not. Switch it up to 6 volts, and I will plug it in somewhere. I don't know what you are plugged into. Hopefully, what are you actually? Oh, you're the lamp. You're the lamp. I should probably just unplug the soldering iron, then unplug the lamp, put it in the soldering iron position, because this guy wants to take up a whole bunch of space. I'm going to give him all the space he wants at 6 volts. You know, if I can physically... There you go. Alright. And now I have a open 6 volt line connection. Probably won't... There's a little bit of shock on the tongue from it. It's not a high voltage output. Pretty standard. So now I can take these, and then I need alligator clips. So what I'm going to do is pull my big bag of craziness out. This is a giant box of wires that I have. I will grab, I guess, male to males. So male to male, 2 wires. I'll take a yellow and a red. That's fine. So these are alligator clips. These is why I work with males, because I use these predominantly for everything. I'll just alligator clip to most things. This is a stranded red wire. I'm gonna use it anyways. It's fine. So I have a male to male, an alligator clip. Oh, this is something I've made some time ago. I don't remember, but it's an alligator clip to an exposed wire. Is that in shot? So this is something that I made, and I guess I just left it. Alligator exposed wire. Can I use you? I think that I can. I'm gonna try and just use this because it's something I did. One of my little babies. So what we do now is we take the motor hat, which is running off these, let me see if you can get that in shot. So these get screwed on, obviously, with these little screws, and these things open up, and then wires go into them. I'm going to do it. This tutorial is not at all about motor hats or motor wiring, so whatever.